Well, hello friends, Coach Bob with you today, and today, man, we have got an exciting thing to do. We're going to be putting some BRP, official BRP armrests on a 2024 Can-Am Sea to Sky edition. This will work for any of the 2020s and later's RTs. I've already done it. I'm going to show it to you, the aftermath. You can see it looks great. It was a super easy job. But I guarantee you by the end of this video, you're going to be able to do this without any reservation, no hint of fear. Regardless of how much you've spent on your machine, there will be no fear associated with taking anything apart. You can do this job. But before we get going, give this video a big old fat thumbs up. I sure would appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel and all that stuff. So let's talk about what you need to do. First thing you need to do, you have to figure out which model you have and then order your BRP armrests. You know, the set that I got for my 2019, which is right over here, I got from Amazon. I found them on a really screaming deal from a dealer that was just selling some, and they have obviously had a box or something that had been opened, and I got it really cheap. These, you know, they're not really going cheap right now, but they're out there. Could you find a deal? You might find a deal. So let's say you've saved your pennies. It's time to get your armrest. You order them and you're like, what do I do now? Well, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to go to this website. Yep, that one. And that is where you're going to find your instructions. And you're going to type a number in. That number you type in will be on your packing slip. And it'll look like something like this. This is the piece of the packing slip I cut off. And the number for these particular ones, I'll lower my glasses to see because I am an old man. The part number is 219-401181. So if you order that part, that is the armrest that's going to work for a 2024 Sea to Sky. You can look and see it may be the one, exact one, for all of the 2020 and later. I'm not sure on that. You can do that. It's a very simple thing. Go to the BRP webpage. Very, very easy to find out. So what's going to happen when you go to that webpage and you type in that number? Well, they're going to show you a PDF file of the instructions of how to do it. So the first thing I do personally is I take those instructions, which I happen to have sitting here, right here in my lap. What I do is I go and I print them out, and then I have them for when I do the job. Just like that. It has the torque specs, has how to put it together. What it does not do though, and this is something that I find a little frustrating, is that it never tells you how to take the motorcycle apart to get to the place to start. And that's where this video comes in. It is everything from the very beginning, where you're taking them out of the box and all you're doing, you're taking the Spyder apart and we're putting them on, and I'll have the torque specs written above as I put each bolt in. So without further ado, let's get started on the installation of the BRP armrests. All right, so the first thing we have to do if we're gonna get these armrests installed for Coach Vic is get this rear seat section off. So we have to do the backrest removal and the back seat removal. So let's get on that and show you how to do that. Now, anyone who's been a part of the BRP family for a while understands that these seats, they like to kind of come down on your head. So I'm just gonna take a shop rag and shove it right there up under there. If I can get that to stay up, that would be very helpful. All right, there we go. So the question is what you're gonna be able to see. There's a pin right there. I'm gonna put my hand on it. I can't hold the light and the pin at the same time. You can see the pin right there. It just looks like a little metal T-handle. That has to be pulled out. Now when I say pulled out, that doesn't mean remove it. It just it moves. You can see it just moved. It's very easy. And then the backrest, once you get that, it has a couple of tabs in it. You start jiggling the backrest and it should come right out. So let's see what we got. These are the two little catches where that little piece goes through. They say don't make sure you don't pull that thing all the way out. It's hard to get back in. I would believe it. So just be careful. Don't yank that metal piece all the way out, but it pulls out pretty easily. So I'm gonna lay this to the side. So now the next thing we have to do is remove this back seat here. There are two tabs. I'm gonna see if I can show them to you. There's a tab. You wanna say a tab? So right here, it's just a little plastic piece that clips in. It just flaps and it has a little piece that extends off of it. There's two of them. There's one on each side. Sometimes you have to jostle a little bit, get one side up a little bit, then lower the other side kind of thing. But it's not very hard. I'll show you the tabs when we get it out. It's much easier to see, and then you'll understand it really clearly when we get it out. All right, so I'm just gonna press this tab in and kind of lift this side just a little. You can see just enough to get my fingers under there. Then I'll press the other side. I'm not putting pressure on it, just enough to keep it elevated. Once you get both sides undone, the seat will lift out. Here's the big thing. If you have a heated seat, then you need to make sure you unplug that connection. This one does have a heated seat. Holding the seat up with my head just so you can see. There's the connection right there. That's it. Now the seat is free. Just lift it out. These are the little tabs I was telling you about. You can see it's just got a little locking mechanism right there on both sides. Right there, and when you press it back, it just gives it enough. But if you press too hard and put pressure on it, you can break that off. In fact, the 2022 that I had at my home, the first time I took the seat off, one of those tabs had already been broken off by the dealership. So the next thing I'm going to do is just a quick little cleanup here, followed by the removal of these two screws on each side, which are both Torx 20. What do you call a husband who blocks his wheelchair wife in? You call him Coach Bob.
Coach Bob. Just enough space for me to get through.
I had no idea.
Have fun doing your armrest.
I'll give you a wheelie
Bob.
up if you want. Ooh. There you go. Well, a little bit can go in if you want to. All right. Okay. Have fun. I'll see you in a little bit, sweetie.
Yeah, all right.
All right, so these accessory covers, you can see that the screws are taken out of them. I'm just gonna, these little rubber pieces that just pop in and out, just gonna lift that up, just get it out of my way. And then this, it's gonna pop right out. That's it. And you're gonna have, here's the original access cover. You can see this will match that access cover. And the other side, this will match that access cover. And that's all there is to it. You got 4 screws, 2 big old screws, the armrest base, and the armrest themselves. All right, so the next thing we have to do is get the access cover on. Again, these are side specific. They'll only go on one way. You can see this slides right in here. We can go ahead and slide that in there if we want to. And there's a little notch right there. Get it all lined up and just work it all in there. That's in. Man, look at that. Ain't that cool? Not really, but we'll work it in. I'm going to need 2 hands to work that in, but it's going to be easy peasy, so let's do that. All right, let's see what's going on here. I'll show you a good view of this. You can see there's a little ridge right there. That ridge is going to go around this right here. There's a little tab on the back side of that too. So let's back that up and slide it forward. Is there a tab on the front side as well? There is. So we'll just kind of bend that back and press it on. Okay. Now I've heard several people that I've been out around complain about this little piece right here. They say it sticks up too high, it doesn't stay down. Am I really concerned about that? No, but I would say BRP, there's something for you to look at in your R&D department. See if you can find a better solution than just that little clip on the back, because it doesn't stay. Because it'll only go in one way. There is a torque spec for these. Just my torque spec is don't kill it, because if you do, you're gonna have problems. Remember, this kind of stuff is not really that crazy. Just go with what you had when you put it in. Let's do the other side. Same thing, the little notch here, little pin in the front. These little tabs go around this plastic piece here. That's all there is to it. Next up, it's going to put the armrest base on. You can see this is the top part where the armrest actually attaches to it here. These are your screws for holding that in place. And this is the one for the other side. That's all there is to it. Again, these are side specific. That says RH. That's a right hand, and this should say LH, and it does. That's a left hand. So just like that, they're written on there for you. You can't even mess that up if you try. So not only does this say left hand, it just has LH and little letters in there. It also will, you want the ugly side to the inside. You've got a little round spot right here, and this little round piece right here. Then you've got this hole right here, which will align with that hole right there. So not only do you have this round piece here and the screw hole, you can see this little ridge right here. Give you a couple of angles at it. There's a little ridge right there. The ridge is going to drop right over the top of that. The round piece is going to go over that. Obviously the screw hole is going to line up. Also, as you're putting this on, you want to align this back rubber piece around the armrest. So let's do that also. So you've got this Allen screw. This is the one that holds the mount in place. It's a 7. Already comes pre-Loctited from BRP. Again, these have a torque spec. When you download your directions, which we'll talk about that in a minute, we'll talk about that as well. Nice and solid though. They're Loctited again, so they don't have to be killed. Let's do the other side. Same exact thing. You've got the curve there, the screw hole, and that ridge. Everything just lines right up. Be patient. That's pretty trick. You can see it goes under here. There's a little notch. The hardest part is just lining everything up. There's a really teeny gap right there in the back. Again, that'll be pretty much covered by the seat. Solid as a rock. All right, let's put the armrest on them. So what you're going to notice is they gave you 4 screws in total, and you're going to see 4 screw holes on each side, and you're going to be like, uh-oh, they shorted me 4 screws, but they didn't. You're going to have a forward position and an aft position, so you can move them a little further forward, a little further back, and you're going to have a possibility of a high position using the bottom holes, or a low position using the top holes. What I'm going to do is, because of the way Coach Vic sits and the way her back is, I'm going to go low and forward. So I'm going to use these top 2 holes here. That's going to bring it lower. And I'm going to use these 2 forward holes here. That's going to bring it forward. So let's do that. And these are a Torx 30. So again, I'm going to be using the top holes. That's going to lower it down as much as possible. And the front 2 holes here, which moves it as further forward as I possibly can. I'm going to just simply start this by hand to start with. I'm going to lay my rag out so I don't drop anything in the Spyder. It's a Torx 30, so I'm going to get a little Torx 30 bit. That'll give me a little more purchase on it. Again, make sure you cover all these holes. I just dropped this tool, and if it wasn't for the rags, it would have been a mess. So now, let's do the other side. All right, you've got a little handle here. You press it down, and you can move the armrest out at an angle a little bit. They both do the same thing. Is that going to be real helpful for us? Loading Vicky up. I'll take every little bit I can get, but I really like the way the old ones flip up. If BRP could make something hinged here as opposed to stuck down like this, it would be much more helpful for loading, a paraplegic person on here, because I've got that backrest to contend with. Now, let's get that seat put on. So on the seat, you have these 2 little tabs right here. They'll drop right here in these little slots. I'm going to widen these armrests out so I can have more room to work. All right. So those went right in. Now I'm not going to lift the front seat to do this. As you can see, it just went right in. When I press this in like this and drop it in, we should hear a click. There's one, there's the other. It's in. We'll double check it, of course, but that's it. I can feel the tabs and see that they're both fully engaged. I felt them go in, not a problem. There's our little T-handle metal. Let's get the backrest in. All right, getting the backrest back in was not difficult at all. It's just a little fidgety. You work it in there and you push the little clip. That little piece of metal right there, and that's it. Pull these rags out. Mission accomplished. So the installation's complete, the ride is done, nothing's vibrating, nothing's wiggling, nothing's moving, everything is great. Coach Vic has not been able to ride on it yet, but visually she came out and she did inspect it. Her takeaway from looking at it was this: the amount of force that you can press on and feel more secure on these than you did on the ones on the earlier models. You know, these things have been great and they've never failed me. But because these are screwed into plastic, it makes you a little bit nervous. These being sat down flat into this frame, it just feels more solid. Now, once again, I've told Coach Vic, you know, look, these things aren't made for doing dips on. I'm not going to say she won't do that, but because she's been known to do it. But I think this is definitely more solid. The only downside that I can see is they don't flip up and out of the way. And for 99% of the populace, that is not an issue. They look great, they feel solid, and they don't vibrate or make any weird noises. So I'm very, very pleased. The installation was super easy, super quick, and the aesthetics, well, they're quite pleasing. All right, so another task accomplished on the Can-Am Spyder. So you, yes you, do me a favor, go out, buy the motorcycle of your dreams, eat right, take care of yourself, and remember, if you're not having fun, you are definitely doing it wrong. Now you go seize the day, and I will see you on the road real soon.